Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders, and welcome to episode 132 of the Legion Outriders podcast, a podcast devoted to all things Star Wars and Legion. I'm Outrider Matt, and with me today is Dan. How's it going, Dan?
Oh, man. As soon as I, try and get my wallet to recover after Disney, they come out with things I need to pre-order.
And you haven't even looked at the Galactic Star Cruiser yet.
Yeah, exactly. So
I will never financially recover from this.
No, I will not.
But before we get going in today's show, we'd like to take a second to thank our Patreons that make recording and publishing the show possible. And if you'd like to become a patron, head over to patreon.com/Legion Outriders. On today's show, well, we've got, of course, our Star Wars news segment, some sort of countdown that Dan's going to die on that hill for. Plus, there are rumors out in the shadows. A whole bunch of them, maybe a collective of rumors about a shadow.
Someone to start a collection.
They should and collect. But yes, of course, we've got the Shadow Collective news that's been coming out. We've put together a Shadow Collective pre-order guide for folks that aren't sure if they want to jump in, pick them up as mercenaries, buy the onesie twosie. And I'm taking credit for this, but Dan, this was all your work, so I'm excited to look at this. But okay, Firstington, what's going on out there in the news, Dan?
Well, hey, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga finally has released.
Yeah, that came out, and oh man, I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to get it, but people kept poking me, and I was like, okay, I'll get it.
Yep, and not to shout out your Twitch stream too early, but you have been playing it on your streams, and it's been very entertaining.
Kind of an off and on thing, but I'll be playing more of that, because there is so much content to go through there.
Oh yeah, and I know you're not going to 100% it, but...
How dare you, sir? Now I'm going to 100% it. Buckle up. This is going to take years.
Yes. But shout out to the people who do 100% that, because holy heck. But if you want to check that out, definitely swing by Matt's Twitch stream.
Oh, yeah. Twitch.tv/Captain_Archer. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well, the Star Wars Celebration, of course, which is coming up at the end of May.
Oh my goodness, I'm already counting the days. I am not counting the days because that's your thing, but I think about it every day and how much fun it's going to be.
You're not going to financially recover from this.
No, I'm already trying to temper my expectations, because the last one, the last one that they had, we spent a lot of money, and we are kind of looking at trying to move houses here soon, so need to really clamp down on those impulses. Luckily, my wall here in the recording studio is filled with portraits and pictures already, so I don't really have a lot of room for it, but I probably will pick up.
You'll always find something. You're like, I can make room for that.
Yeah, they'll have like a super sexy Boba Fett up there, or something that'll make me want to put it on the wall.
Well, hopefully Asmodee or AMG, although it hasn't been officially announced that they'll be there yet, if they do throw a booth there.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to be doing that, because they had the, if you remember, the con exclusive Vaders, at the last celebration, which I was not able to get my hands on. So hopefully this year they will be there, and I will be able to get a hold of... Well, actually, I did get my hands on, but that was because I knew a guy who knew a guy who robbed a guy, apparently. So, and that's how I got my Vader.
If they do have a con exclusive, it will be probably the one intended for 2020 that never happened.
Good point. Well, wasn't that what Luke was all about?
Oh yeah, true. You're right. Yeah. So whichever one was supposed to be after Luke, I'm sure. But what has been announced is the first set of panels have been announced. So the first day on Thursday, they're coming out the gate heavy and hard. The Lucasfilm live action panel, where they're stated they're going to be showcasing Kenobi, Andor, and Mando season. Well, they said Mando specifically, but not Mando season 3. But it's got to be season 3.
It's got to be, yeah.
But hopefully they'll be showing off like Ahsoka and Acolyte, and hopefully more stuff too.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And usually it takes like a day, things. Well, it seemed like on the last one it was like Friday and Saturday were the big days for that. But we're already doing our day at the park on the Wednesday, so we should be there the entire time. And then there's actually going to be a Star Wars night at Disney during this event as well.
So you're bringing
plus Kenobi's coming out during the event, and I'm like, it's so much Star Wars.
Are you bringing your lightsaber for whatever? I'm sure they're doing a lightsaber meetup or something.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that, but you're probably right. That seems like something we would do.
My brother is going, and he's doing the lightsaber meetup. So
okay, cool.
But yeah, I have a feeling they did this one early before Kenobi release so that they could tease some things about Kenobi before it actually dropped.
I have a feeling we'll probably, if you get into the hall, that they'll probably show the first episode or something.
Yeah, hopefully both. The first 2 episodes.
Yeah, the first 2 would be fantastic. Be out Friday.
But on Saturday, they have another panel called Mando Plus.
Oh no! Is this going to cost me an extra $20 to activate?
But that panel is described as Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni talk about Mando and the spin-offs.
Oh, nice.
So they're going to go more into the specific Mandoverse stuff. And then on Sunday, they announced the Bad Batch panel.
Okay.
Where the executive producers, Brad Rao and Jen Corbett, the story editor, Matt Minowitz, D. Bradley Baker, of course, who played everyone, except for Omega. Yeah. Which is played by Michelle Ang. She'll be there
I'm sorry, Omega?
Yeah, Omega.
Yeah.
Yes. But they're going to discuss season 1, and hopefully they'll give some spoilers on season 2.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised with how much I enjoyed Bad Batch. I was kind of like, it's more Clone Wars stories. That'll be fine. Clone Wars is cool. It's not my favorite, but it actually grew on me quite a bit. I'm just hopeful that because there's so many people that attend the celebration, they do like a lottery to actually get into the panels, not only the actual panels, but to get into the overflow viewing rooms. And I got into none of them last time.
I was going to say, they did that last time, right?
Yeah, so I'm really hoping we'll be able to get in. If I could get into that Mando Plus, I would be super excited. But I mean, there was always other stuff to go do with the big floor stage and all that. But looking forward to this, and I'll definitely have a report on it after.
Oh yes, which may be an entire episode.
Probably,
depending on
we'll see. We'll see. I'll try to distill my thoughts down. But that'll be another 2 or 3 episodes from now.
Nice.
Okay.
So, but going on at the same time. Over at KublaCon, they're doing Legion by the Bay on the exact same weekend.
Yes, not to be confused with the Bay Area Open, which is a completely separate Warhammer 40K event. But there will be the, what is it, Battle by the Bay, you said?
Legion by the Bay.
Legion by the Bay. That's it. I keep calling it Battle by the Bay. Either way, maybe it's just because I like alliteration.
I think Keegan's going to that one. We might have to reach out to him and see.
Yeah. I talked to Nima at LVO, and he's going to be judging up there. So I think he might be running it too. I need to double check, but it is the same. It's Memorial Weekend, and I will be at Star Wars Celebration, or else
so Southern
I would
California,
definitely consider it.
Yeah, Southern California's got a big event. Northern California's got a big event.
Yeah, it's going to be a Star Wars and weekend for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then in 285 days from now, we'll have a big event here in LVO.
Maybe,
I had to sneak that. You called it out in the intro. Of course, I had to sneak it in.
I know. I mean, you put it on the show notes now, so it's unless I get a hold of yours and edit it so ahead of time and print out a trick copy. Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff coming up in May. So we just have to get through the rest of April here and then into May.
Yeah, I try to live in the moment and enjoy the time that I'm given, but there's so many things to look forward to here.
Oh, yeah.
Because mercenaries. Well, are we calling them mercenaries? Mercenaries, yes, are coming our way.
Yeah.
With some very interesting things, including, we've got single boxes. We've got a Battle Force box that's coming out, which I love. We know we've talked about that before.
Yeah, so our last episode, we talked that these things were starting to hit the French and other countries' Asmodee store. Well, now they've come out in the U.S. store.
Hooray!
So everything is available for pre-order. Our local game store is taking pre-orders, so your local game store should be taking pre-orders now.
Yeah, I talked to him last time I was in there, and it was like, hey, so Shadow Collective stuff? He's like, yeah, it's up for pre-order. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, yes. All of it, please. So, Dan, I know that you're actually considering...
Well, I as an Empire player, I can use some things out
You
of
can
this.
use some things, right?
So I do have some on pre-order, and I'll break down what's good to buy. In fact, that's what I wrote this.
But you're even considering, I know in our chat.
Yeah, in our chat.
Cheating on our Lord and Emperor Palpatine.
It's a former apprentice of Palpatine, so it's tangential.
Okay. Wow. I don't think you can say that on the show.
Tangential.
Oh, is that what you said? Never mind.
Well, you gonna bleep me out with RT noises again?
Maybe not this time.
So because this force functions a little bit different than your average faction.
Yep.
Now, of course, with the caveat and disclaimer, we don't have all the info on this yet. So don't take this buying guide here that we're trying to, or pre-order guide that we're trying to build here as a as gospel, but
Sudan.
Yes. Legion
I have
Outriders.
nothing to do with no.
Legion Outriders is not liable for anything.
Yeah, exactly. This is, of course, there are some blanks we still need to have filled in, but on the best knowledge we have available.
Yeah, and using the logic that the game and both FFG, AMG, and Asmodee have presented all the product with. So yeah, if you're an existing player looking to buy in, which is probably going to be most of the players going into this, you already have a Galactic or a Galactic Civil War or Clone War core set, so you've already got a lot of components. What's the best way to buy into it? Well, the core set versus the separate boxes is the biggest debate I've seen, at least in our local area.
Yeah.
Because I see there's people say, I just want to pick up one or two core of the individual boxes just to add on to my faction.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
It is acceptable, but looking at the prices, a core set is $70 MSRP.
Uh-huh.
Individual boxes are $35, so half of that.
Huh.
But what's in a core set? We're just talking models. We'll talk about cards a little bit later.
Okay, so what is the US dollar MSRP right now for the core box?
$69.99.
$69.99.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and $34.99 for
pretty tasty. Yeah.
So for in a core box, you get one set of the Pikes, one set of the Black Sun, and one set of the Super Commandos with 2 extra models. You get a Maul and a Rook Cast model for $70. Versus if you buy an individual pack, it's just the 7 models of that particular Pike, Black Sun, or Mandos. So it's like for twice the price, you're getting 1.5 times the models.
Yeah, by Grabthar's Hammer. What a savings.
So if you're looking to start Shadow Collective as a new faction, you want to play Shadow Collective deep. No, we don't have the Force Org yet, so we don't know how many of each unit. I'm thinking 3 core sets, because that'll give you 6 core, 3 special forces, and enough spare models to do some kit bashing. You can build both versions of Maul, because there'll be a Double Saber version and a Dark Saber version.
But maybe don't go full crazy like that. I'm thinking 2 boxes and maybe onesie-twosie on the other boxes. But... Again, like you point out, if you're going to get 2 more boxes, this kind of reminds me of when the Clone Wars era core set came out and people kept asking, do I buy 2 sets? Do I buy 3 sets, to get all the B1s I'm going to need? And it just kind of depends on how much you really want to throw at it right then. You could always start with one of these core sets and then play some 500-point games. I'm sure you could probably get away with that pretty easily with some proxy or something else. Figure out what you like, and then you can pick up, a unit box here and there if you really want to, or save up for that second other collective box.
Unfortunately, the one strategy that worked on the old core sets doesn't work this time around, which was the split with a friend.
The swap, yeah.
Yeah, so, of course, that was the best way for the old core sets, was find a friend playing the opposite faction, you each buy a core set and just trade your halves, and you've got 2 core sets for the price of 1, essentially.
Or be your own best friend and just collect 2 factions. Is that not an option anymore? Oh, well, not for this one.
So, my strategy is multiple core sets for now.
Yeah.
Although you do have some merit in saying 2 core sets, because there's some additional things you could buy to flesh out on the side. And I'm not talking more Pikes, Black Suns, or Mandos. The Gar Saxon box, which is a commander, which is great because Shadow Collective is hitting the ground with, and we'll get to cards later, but with 4 potential commander options, which is crazy.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because no
and
other
that's good.
verses. Yeah, no, that's great. That's so yeah, picking up Gar Saxon gets you another commander option. That's another unit option too. So if you do my potential of the 3 core sets, that's 11 units out of the box. The upgrade card pack 2 is great for existing players too, because if you're going a single faction like me, there's a lot of cards in there that I haven't had access to yet.
How about them force powers?
Yeah, exactly. So force lift, force barrier, burst of speed. Well, like I said, we'll go into cards later. So we'll talk about models now.
Okay.
But the upgrade card pack does give you 2 interesting unit options. That is the Refresh Bounty Hunters and the AA5. So AA5.
Yeah, Battle Bus is getting out there. Going to be rolling out in strength again.
So if you're an existing player and you haven't played a faction that has with the Bounty Hunters yet, hey, pick up a few of the bounty hunters as well. We're assuming all of them will be usable in Shadow Collective.
Guess the AA5's okay.
You guess
I was really hoping for like a little Jabba's sail skiff kind of thing from Return.
Which means that they could release more, but
I'm sure they will. But actually,
things,
that makes a lot of sense,
yeah,
because if the Rebels can get a hold of it, then definitely owe them criminal syndicates.
And, I mean, using existing models already in the game helps this faction hit the ground running really well. So
very true.
It's a very good efficiency option.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely if you are buying into... Now, if you're just trying to add on for an existing faction, say, from my perspective, I'm buying Empire. I already have pre-order for a core set, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Which means because both the Black Sun and the Pikes have been publicly announced that they will be available for Empire and CIS.
Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Empire.
Yes.
Is there any of these units that you've identified that you're like, yes, I'm going to plug them straight into a list right away because I want to try them out? Or are you like, I just want to have options. It's nice to have scum and villainy laying around that I can utilize some muscle.
Mainly options, because we don't have all the card info yet.
Right.
Well, yes, we do have Pikes. We actually don't have a clear picture of their price yet, because the cards were held up, on the painting stream. And unfortunately, our enhance... That's not good enough to see if it's 40 points or 48 points, and the fact that they don't fulfill minimum requirements for a Force organization as of yet. But we'll see how Blizzard Force mixes that in too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, if you are either Gar or Rebels, maybe picking up just some Pikes on their own, because Pikes can work for everybody. Yeah. But if you are Empire or CIS, consider picking up the core set, because for the price of, if you just want to buy one Black Sun and one Pike, why not get some extra models and potential that things could go into more things.
It also makes sense that we'll probably see a flood of those extra models that are kind of on top that you don't need duplicates of. So check eBay or your local swap or Facebook groups or
your local game store.
Your local game store. Yeah, I'm sure that people can do some wheeling and dealing for those extra bits that are coming along.
Yeah, so like I said, lots of flexibility in the main core set. I'm actually surprised the core set is the price it is.
Yeah.
It could easily be $10 to $15 more for everything that's in that box and still be less cost than what the items in compared to the separate items purchased separately.
No, I think it's definitely a sexy price point, and I'm very excited that they're going to continue this. I'm hoping that all the factions, especially when we have like Blizzard or Hoth Defenders, that they'll do a repack on those and like, okay, here's like all your basic units you need for these battle forces, and
for all the upgrade pack stormtroopers I bought now to have hard plastic stormtroopers come out. That'll be
yes. The magic number is 3 1.4 FD laser cannons.
How could they improve that in hard plastic? We'll see. Now, if you're a new player, first of all, thanks for listening to the cast.
Welcome to the Legion community.
Or, of course, if you're in your local game store and you see new players interested, they're like, oh, I want to get in with,
Tell them to listen to our podcast.
Tell them to listen to our podcast. But if they or your local game store itself says, hey, I've got new players asking what should they buy when they buy in. So, again, in addition to everything we've already said, buy core sets, buy GAR, buy the upgrade pack 2, buy the bounty hunters in the AA5. But the Essentials kit, which is an interesting little kit that they're doing, basically the core set.
How essential is it?
If you are starting Legion and have no other product yet, it's very essential. Very essential, okay. Because it is your movement tools, your range tools, all the tokens and dial turn counter.
Dice.
And 3 of each dice.
This sounds like a good resupply for people that may have been snapping their range rulers or losing their movement tools at tournaments. There's always dice going everywhere, and nobody. I brought exactly 9 dice. Mm-hmm. Really, that seems like an odd number, but I know I had that. Well, great. Now I'm down some.
But the newest thing that's in this pack that they've never released before, at least not in a retail. Now they've released it in OP kits, but not in retail. Are the skirmish battle cards.
Oh, good.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's great for new players to get the skirmish battle cards, because honestly, they're probably going to be starting in skirmish before getting up to 800.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And if your game store, which our game store has had multiple of those skirmish OP kits, but if your game store hasn't had a chance to get any, and you haven't been able to get any of the printed skirmish cards, this is the place to get it. And speaking of dice, well, even though there 3 of each dice come in this pack, you need more than 3 of each of the dice.
That does seem kind of like a go with 3. That doesn't. Yeah. That's not
sure
essential.
It's a cost.
Minimalist.
Yeah. So I think the separate dice pack, and actually I'm curious, we might have to ask on next time I can get in a stream and see if I can get them to respond to me. Are they going to discontinue the separate rulers, the separate dice packs, the separate due to this?
Yeah, I'm curious. I would think no.
Because still some people still need just rulers or just dice.
Right.
And honestly, we all needed. I can't say how many dice packs I bought extra
because
I've thought my dice were cursed and I needed to replace them.
Ouch. Yes.
But another pack that I hope they don't discontinue soon, our good friend the Barracuda. Because yes, the Essentials pack does not include barricades.
Oh. Well, you got to get some...
Yeah, you got to get those barricades because there are cards.
Barracuda.
Force lift. There are condition cards, fortified positions, etc.
Yeah,
that
you need to
reference them. So they are actually required for play in certain conditions. And this is the only place to get them outside of one of the old core sets. I know it's crazy to think because all of us, people playing since day one have 1 million freaking barricades in our
Yeah, I know we had a bunch of ours kind of make it onto the game shelves and from there make it to who knows where.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there's probably a few.
I think it's those shifty-eyed 40k players that have been taking them because this looks like something Imperial Guard would like to use. Or Astra Militarum.
And of course, if you're starting with the Shadow Collective core set and the Upgrade Pack 2, well, the Upgrade Pack 1 actually still has a lot of valid upgrades.
Yeah.
Now, of course, all of us old players are like, well, we've got 1 million upgrade cards. And hey, if you've got new players, we've all got 1 million of these cards. Just throw them some old upgrade cards.
Yeah, give them some cards. I actually really need to do that. I got to go through and okay, do I need, 8 copies of this card? Probably not. So
yeah, it's like,
just like, hey, bring them to your next meetup. And like, hey, here's cards if you guys need upgrade cards.
Here, I've got 15 impact grenades I'm not using. There you go.
And then maybe next time we face each other in a tournament, you throw the game and let me win, huh?
But I was comparing the contents of Upgrade Pack 1, Upgrade Pack 2, and a few of the list builders out there. All available upgrades are with the combination of those 2 packs and the Shadow Collective core set are available. So once you pick up those 3 things, you have literally every upgrade card in the game.
That's actually really impressive. I don't know if you're aware. There's a lot of upgrade cards out there.
Well, I'm actually technically not correct on that.
Oh.
Because the 2 upgrade packs do include the generic or non-aligned cards. So by generic, you'd think, oh, maybe the light side and dark side cards.
Yeah.
Upgrade card packs don't include the light side, dark side, force power cards. They only carry the generic.
Really?
Yes. So, but the Shadow Collective core set, which we'll get more into cards later. I keep getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
Does come with all of the dark side cards for dark side force cards for multi-use.
Okay, so there you go. Another reason for the Imperial players to hire some outside muscle.
Yes. Though, honestly, Imperial players with existing upgrades have gotten all the dark side cards. We just haven't. There's a few generic, not non-aligned force cards that we haven't gotten yet. So, but the battlefield expansions. Now, this is more if you're trying to go more into tournament play as a new player for Shadow Collective. You do need the battlefield expansions. The priority supplies, vital assets, because those do give you the extra battle cards,
right?
As well as all the 3D models that you would use as part of those the cards in
the
that
actual game piece models for instead of using cardboard tokens and whatnot.
Which all of them, with the exception of fortified needing barricades and the bomb carts needing the bomb cards, could be done with paper tokens. But it's better. Yeah,
it's nice to have.
It's nice to have them. And it's more the hobby thing. It looks cooler on the table.
I really need to get some replacements for my moisture evaporators. I think I've broken the tops off of every single one of those little spindly spires.
Okay, I think I have some because you've seen my boxes on my carts for my table, right?
Right.
Yeah, I bought a few of those boxes.
Okay,
so I have
fantastic. Okay, hooray!
They may be primered, but still, that's fine.
fine.
But if you're not going tournament yet and want to go more of the narrative route, those other narrative terrain expansions actually would not be a bad thing to buy. And it's not necessary, but it does give you a little bit more gameplay, doing the downed ATSD, the bunker, the escape pod.
Yeah, and it gives you some terrain for the table if you want to start building something up that you can play at home or take to events, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and of course, with any hobby game, if you're a new player, if this is your first hobby game, I should say, you're going to need your hobby supplies, your paint, your primer, glue, brushes, etc. But I mean,
definitely get a pair of those flat cut,
the flush cutters. Yes.
The cutters, because man, that makes such a big difference.
And
always cut away from yourself with the sprue. I did it.
You did it?
The last time I was building, I was trying to get through a piece, and I thought I was cutting away, but my finger was right underneath, and it's like, kunk. I was like, wow, I haven't done that in a while. Wow, this is really bleeding. They're sharp.
Yes. The biggest confusion I've seen with newer players and these models with hobbying side of things is glue.
Glue, yes.
So yes, get both plastic glue and super glue.
Yeah. What's the rule of thumb for those?
Rule of thumb, if it comes on a sprue, use plastic glue.
I like how that rhymes.
If it comes in a baggie, I know, and unfortunately the second half doesn't rhyme. If it comes in a baggie, you want super glue. And if you're connecting the hard plastic to a soft plastic, you want super glue.
Yeah, definitely you want to do that.
Most biggest reference to this is the models to the bases.
Yeah, the plastic glue actually like softens the bonds on the hard plastic, so they meld together, kind of like like welding.
Yeah, it chemically reacts with the plastic, melting it, causing the two ends to fuse together.
And it can't do that with the softer plastics from some of the older kits.
Correct. So if you're a new player with Shadow Collective, luckily your entire core set will be hard plastic. Unless you start dipping into the old bounty hunters. So yes, Boba and Bosk will be the soft plastic. So you'll need to use super glue on them.
I just thought of what AMG could do for the Star Wars Celebration exclusive mini. Old Man Boba.
Old Man. Well, I mean, they're going to be doing that. They announced it last mini extravaganza.
But I mean, like a special one, or even a younger Boba Fett. I guess that would be kind of cool because it would be a mercenary. It's getting redone. Having an alternate pose would be really sweet. But anyways. Herring off. But yes, some good things to go by there. I know we're going to have a lot of people dumping into Shadow Collective, picking those up, and very excited for basically a new faction or, refreshing their old standards.
Yeah, because it's not just players who are going to be using these components to add to their existing armies. I think a lot of people are just going to start dipping their toes, see how they like it, see if it's a faction they want to jump into. Yeah,
I can't wait to see how the next big tournament after these guys come out, how the breakdowns are going to go for the factions after that, if we're going to have a big surge of folks.
Well, I'm trying to remember. What was the first big tournament after Clone Wars stuff came out? Was it? I remember LVO 2020, which is the last LVO before COVID.
That was because it came out like late summer, as I recall. So yeah, I think it was.
I mean, I'm sure they had some East Coast things after that, but
San Diego's usually in October. I don't think they had one that year though, or it was small.
We'll have to go back to the archives and see how that went.
That would be interesting. But okay, guys, we're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be right back with. Hey, Dan, are we finally going to talk about those cards?
Yes.
Fantastic. Hey guys, Matt here to tell you about our friends over at 6UP Supply. If you're like me and don't have access to your own 3D printers, 6UP Supply has you covered with a whole suite of printing services to bring those awesome files to life. The Outriders are proud to be partnered with 6UP, and you could find special themed terrain, gear, and tokens with a big discount for Patreon members in the Outrider Central section of the website. And that's not all. You can also get terrain bases, game supplies, tools, LED kits, and more. Stuff is being added all the time. So stop by the number 6upsupply.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER to save 10% on your next order, and let them help you up your game.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. Matt and Dan back here, and Hey Dan, guess what? We've got a garbled subspace transmission coming in. We forgot some news in the last section.
Oh, we did?
Yes, we did. Specifically, number one, Tyler Beal, also known as Zarvac on Discord, has reached out to us to let us know about a charity event, Hugs for Hayden, that's going to be happening on May 28th. For his niece who has been diagnosed with leukemia. They're going to be doing a fundraiser at their local game store. It's Games Plus One in Davenport, Iowa. They've got a TTO link going already. I'm sure there's more information about this on the Discord, but definitely if you guys are in the area, try and stop over there and try and support a worthy cause. because that sounds like, well, I mean, nobody likes illnesses for children, so go throw some money at them.
No, definitely. Yeah, that sounds like a great thing to support.
Yeah. But also, we forgot to mention, Dan.
Well, how do I follow up that? Like,
that's right. Gosh, I'm like, let's try to bring it back up for a minute.
Exactly. But yeah, how could I have totally forgotten to mention Mini Stravaganza 3?
Yes,
the next one.
They tweeted that out 2 days ago.
So that'll be
time of recording.
Yeah, so June 9th to 11th, and since these are coming out in around that time, we're assuming that, well, considering normal delays that happen with these things lately, we're assuming that they'll be showing off a lot of the Shadow Collective kit.
Yeah, hopefully, we'll get to color in all those blanks that we were just talking about. So we got so much information on the last mini extravaganza, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to have for us this time.
Yeah,
anyway,
you can hear the Ewok chanting in the background.
Yep.
So AMG posted on the socials, both Twitter and Facebook, that they had a lot of questions about the cards coming in the Shadow Collective wave of products, and they said to alleviate any confusion, they gave us a complete list of all the cards that are included in the products, and they'll have full reveals of these cards that lead up to the release. Probably leading up to Mini Stravaganza, but we'll probably get the full picture right at Mini Stravaganza, hopefully.
And honestly, props to AMG for kind of jumping on that one and like, here's what we know, that kind of thing, to get the information out sooner rather than later.
Right.
It's kind of a big deal.
This post worked a little bit better on Facebook than it did on Twitter because of Twitter's character limit.
Yeah, it was definitely that's how I found out because I'm not on Facebook. But, just kind of the thread going down there. I was like, well, okay, this is all good. Let's keep
Well, luckily, Facebook was all included in one particular post as opposed to the multiple ones in Twitter.
Good.
So, gird yourself, everyone, for the next 45 minutes. A dramatic reading of all of the cards included. No.
Are you going to do like the old Bugs Bunny opera singer, like spray the perfume thing in your throat and gargle a little?
So now they did list all of the cards that come in there, both the Shadow Collective starters and in all the other kits. So some interesting things to point out. We're not going to go over every single card.
Because this is nearly a full 8.5 by 11 single space page of information here.
I actually threw them all in Excel just to sort them. And I did black out the ones here that were existing. So yes, there is some older cards that are in here. But we'll start at the top. The command cards coming in the Shadow Collective starter kits. Of course, you get Maul's 3 existing cards from his Separatist box. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to buy the Separatist box if you're only buying Shadow Collective.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But it comes with 3 new command cards for him. Witch Magic, His Eminence, and Seize What Power We Can.
I'm so excited for the Dathomir.
Yeah, so Dathomir references. Yes. So if they ever do some Dathomirian battle forces, this will tie in really well on that.
Yeah.
But it also comes with 3 other, how should I say, faction generic or Shadow Collective generic.
Strictly for the mercenary factions.
Yeah, or of course to fill out the hand if you don't want to take all of one particular command cards. But they have Ploy, Aggression, and Discretion.
Huh.
So.
Trying to think of some kind of example with those words popping up in Clone Wars or something.
I'm assuming this is the 1 pip, 2 pip, 3 pip with Ploy being the 1 pip. So, we'll have to see. Unfortunately, these don't give a lot away.
It does seem like it's kind of a act in 3 parts there. So, we've got a Ploy we're going to execute. We're going to have maximum aggression. Well, that didn't work out, so discretion now. we're running away. For the unit cards included, they've mentioned that it will come with 6 unit cards in the box. So it'll come with Maul, of course. Mm-hmm. A Mandalorian Super Commandos, Black Sun Enforcers, Black Sun Vigo, which is going to be a generic commander akin to the generic commanders for the other factions. Wasn't that the bad guy in Ghostbusters too? And then we're also going to have a Pike Syndicate foot soldier and Pike Syndicate Capo.
So those have been shown off already, those cards.
Yeah. And a whole slew of upgrade cards.
Yep. Luckily, a large chunk of them were existing cards. So you get, like I mentioned in the first half, you get some of the dark side force powers like Anger, Fear, Force Choke, Force Push and Saber throw in there too.
How come we don't have one named Suffering yet? Wait, do we?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
But well, I'm sure. I'm sure because AMG listens to this cast that they're furiously writing notes as we're talking.
I don't know.
But some interesting things in the upgrade cards. Of course, the Black Sun will have extra guy with Black Sun Enforcer. Black Sun Vigo acting like an officer. Magdet Enforcer. I'm thinking this is the model that they've shown off of the guy running with just a belt of thermal detonators.
Yeah.
So just not a grenade guy.
Yeah, he's going to be the same thing as we get with the scout troopers and the saboteurs.
Oh, okay, so interesting.
That's what I'm thinking.
A core set saboteur.
Yeah.
Huh. That's an interesting thought.
Then again,
I mean,
it's just
spamming those guys are going to be. Yeah, that's if they throw mines. But well, if it's just kind of a grenade guy, yeah. But... and then scattergun enforcer. So it looks like they're getting a shotgun guy as well. So what leads me to believe the Black Sun guys are probably going to be your close range fleet trooper analogy.
Oh, I thought the pikes were because they were all range 2 pistolier kind of.
No, they were 1 to 3.
Are they 1 to 3?
Yeah, they're 1 to 3.
I must have them backed up. Or backwards.
So
okay.
the Black Sun guys seem very close range. Also the models, the weapons they're holding look pistols with the kind of like the Covenant kind of pistols with the top and the bottom part on them. But on the pikes, of course, they'll have
Covenant. I just realized what you were saying there.
Yeah.
You mean Black Hole, like the guns they had in that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. I want to make sure we had that cleared
up. The pikes will get a foot soldier, so extra personnel. The capo, electro whip soldier, and the disruptor soldier. Now we've already seen these in the previous leaks. So yeah, another core unit. I mean, just a force user facing down a bunch of core with whips. Oh, that just seems like a bad time.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Onto the Mandos, they have the Super Commando Gunslinger and Super Commando Marksman, and a just Mandalorian Super Commando. So since we're speculating that these are going to be special forces guys, it's probably going to be similar to the Magna Guard, where you can just pop an extra guy in with nothing special, and that's why there's just a Super Mandalorian Super Commando. But it looks like they'll have 2 special weapon guys, either a Gunslinger or a Marksman. Since most of their models have pistols, I'm assuming they're going to be similar to the Mandalorian Resistance, where they're range 2, where the Marksman will add a rifle, or Gunslinger. I'm curious with the Gunslinger. Maybe it has the Gunslinger keyword. That would be pretty gross.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking
gross,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. But then again, they're Mandalorians, and then the Marksman will give them their range 3, Pierce, something or other, I'm sure. Something like that.
Then the Mandalorian-specific upgrades. There's Super Commando jetpack rockets. Well, we've seen that in Mandalorian Resistance. Combat shields, well, probably similar to what Sabine's shield. Rook Cast. Now, here's where a lot of confusion has been, because Rook Cast was listed as a character on the back of the box. It was her model was shown on the back of the box. So there's a lot of assumption that she was either a commander or an operative. But this clarifies it. She is a heavy upgrade, like Biston or Fives.
Oh, okay.
Or Dell, or
I gotta say, I was really hoping for her brother, Pod. And then there's the Dark Saber.
You didn't. Could have gone the Jodo route, but didn't. Anyway, yes, and then the last upgrade that's unique or new to this box is the Dark Saber. Interesting.
Everybody gets a turn with the Dark Saber.
Yes. I wonder if they'll do a Vizsla character in the future. That'll be
For the 30 seconds he had it.
Well, no, not the.
Not Paz Vizsla?
Not Paz Vizsla, the one in Clone Wars.
Oh, of course. Okay, that makes more sense.
Who dual
Sorry,
maul
that's
for
the one I got stuck in my head right
well,
now.
it's the most recent one everyone's seen. So
right,
yeah,
that's why I found it so laughable.
So that's the starter box. The next SKU is the Essentials Kit. Essentials Kit does not have any actual new cards.
Right.
But does have the generic command cards of Ambush, Push, Assault, and Standing Orders from 2 sets. One from the original core set and one from the Clone Wars core set. So you can choose your art either way you want to go in there.
Yippee!
Yay! And then it will come with 24 battle cards, so 12 for 800 point standard and then 12 for 500 point skirmish. So again, like we mentioned earlier, this is the first place in a retail product you can get the skirmish cards.
Fantastic.
Upgrade Pack 2 will come with 3 of the Shadow Collective generic command cards, Deploy, Aggression, Discretion.
I'd like to point out that Dan did not say, and I laud him for this, upgrade card pack 2 Electric Boogaloo. I'm very proud of
Yeah, and I'm retroactively calling the first card pack 1, just because of that.
You and George Lucas,
yes,
I guess.
yes.
It's card pack 5 now,
yes,
actually,
exactly. It comes with 5 unit cards, so one of each of the existing bounty hunters. So you got Boba Bosk and Cad Bane.
So excited.
Yeah, so we want more information on these guys, just see where they go into. And it's coming with 2 A5 speeder trucks for Mercenary in the box.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if they actually will handle differently. I don't know. Probably.
Well, the card
options,
they've shown
maybe?
the front of the card.
Did they?
And it's identical.
Okay.
It's the only main difference is the faction symbol is 2 crossed vibro lances. So
okay.
we still need information on how that actually functionally works into a force organization chart, but hopefully we'll be getting that soon. But yeah, I now have a potential excuse to buy an AA5 and print out the Star Tours conversion that our good friends over at the Legion 99 have whipped up.
Hey, yeah.
So
good job, guys.
I've already been talking to Nick on the back on that. So thanks for the help with that, Nick. But anyway, and then upgrade cards. So they're going to have some new upgrade cards in here that aren't in the Shadow Collective starter. So if you're getting a Shadow Collective starter, upgrade pack 2 I think is actually a must buy, because you're getting Lead by Example, which I'm assuming is some sort of command card.
Mm-hmm. No, you lead by example.
No, you lead by example. Yeah. Underworld Connections, which they have spoiled. It says that you can take 1 additional mercenary unit of any rank in your army.
Yeah, I remember this from the Imperial Assault.
Oh, yes. They basically copied that ability. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So if it's... And, of course, we still need explanation exactly how mercenaries work, but if it's a command upgrade, so does that mean any commander can take it and then just take another mercenary unit? So Empire can take an AA5, the mercenary AA5, and slap that in there.
You put some TIE fighter wings on the side of it, just screaming down the avenue.
Just you put some little instead of spinning rims, you have spinning walker legs. Just
I had the Scooby-Doo running sound effect in my head. Thank you.
Oh, but anyway, 3 of a card called Up Close and Personal.
Interesting.
It gives me Into the Fray vibes, but
okay.
3 Emergencies Transponders. So I'm assuming this is an equipment card. I'm curious what an emergency transponder could do. 4 Prepared Supplies.
Interesting. Okay.
So I wonder if it'll use a supply deck, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder. It gives you like a random assortment of 4 of them or something.
2 Sonic Imploders. Bong. Yes. The ones that were in Battlefront, which basically did the same thing.
And there'd just be blue pieces of Hedgehog everywhere.
A card called Raiding Party Leader. I'm assuming this is a mercenary pilot for the AA5.
That makes sense.
Because
I buy that.
on the card pack, there shows art of a Klaatu Indian and a Weequay. So I'm assuming this is the art that they're going to use for this. And the next card, Frenzied Gunner.
Do they have art for this?
Well, on the actual card pack packaging, they had art for that. So anyway.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm thinking that's a gunner for the mercenary AA5 as well.
I wonder what that's going to do.
Yeah. So, or at least pilot that'll, because they've already got the hot shot. Yeah. What was the Wookiee card that makes shooting better on the AA5?
Oh.
I'm liking, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, so they'll definitely something that'll improve the AA5 on there.
Maybe.
And of course, in addition to that, there's a lot of existing cards. We're not going to go through all of them, but it's basically everything that was not in card pack 1 that has been released as of yet.
That is not a specific light side, dark
side, or faction specific or unit specific card.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. Onto the Mandalorian Super Commandos. Of course, interesting that these come with the 3 command cards, but they don't have a obvious commander unit that comes with them. So it comes with Ploy, Aggression, Discretion. But unlike the Pikes and the Black Suns, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, I was just looking back over the list. I'm like, maybe, I don't know.
But of course, they come with a unit card of Mandalorian Super Commandos and everything that was listed in the Shadow Collective starter. So there is nothing in this box that you don't already get in a combination of the starter and the upgrade pack.
Good.
The card upgrade pack. So that's why I'm like really not on these separate kits.
Yeah.
Unless you really need a quantity of this one.
If they put exclusive cards in there like they did on some of the early releases, yeah, we'd be charting a course of the salt mines of Kessel
because grappling hooks were so useful.
Okay,
back then,
just
yes.
The fact. Yes, and the grenades and.
But it comes to the unit card of Super Commandos, the Gunslinger, the Marksman, the additional personnel guy, the Jetpack Rockets, the combat shields, and it comes with up close and personal emergency transponder and prepared supplies. So,
okay, so
same stuff that's already in the upgrade pack. Black Sun Enforcers pretty much the same, 3 command cards, the Enforcers and the Vigo, with the personnel extra guy, the Vigo leader, the magnet grenade guy, the shotgun guy, the scatter gun, and prepared supplies, sonic imploders, underworld connections, and lead by example. Pikes, same thing, comes with the command cards, the foot soldiers and the capo, the extra personnel guy, the leader, the disruptor, the whip, prepared supplies, sonic imploders, underworld connections, and lead by example as well.
Okay, so we're getting a bunch of those. All the neutral cards are going to be in the separate kits as well as the starter and all that.
So like I said, unless you really need a lot of one particular one, as opposed to getting everything together, honestly, I don't see an incentive of buying the individual kits over just multiple core sets.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Agreed.
So.
But yeah, it sounds like we've got a lot of really interesting options. I can't wait for the main extravaganza to kind of pull back the curtain on the rest of the stuff because, we all want data on this, right?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure they'll be
able to start list building and figuring out exactly how they're going to plug into existing forces or by themselves.
And hats off to you guys who run the list building websites.
Oh, man. What
the
a
amount
nightmare.
of back-end programming work you have to do to make this fit.
Oh, yeah.
I feel for you, man. So if any of them have Patreons or any other support things, do support them because they really...
Buy them a cup of calf.
Yeah, exactly. So... But yeah, we're hopeful they'll probably be drip feeding more spoilers about this during their painting streams as, painting streams come along between now and mini extravaganza. And yes, the chants of Ewoks are on the horizon.
Drums faintly in the distance. Yep.
Yes, hearing the horns. But that's all we've got for now.
Yep. Stay tuned, and of course, as we get more information, we'll make sure to get it into the follow-up episodes that we do. Well, that's going to do it for us on this episode. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And if you have any news, questions, or feedback, you can email us at legionoutriders@gmail.com. Stop by our Facebook page, Facebook/Legion Outriders. Dan, where can people find you out in the world?
Well, on the Discord as either Outrider Dan or Dan Tech, and I also like to hang out in your streams watching Lego Star Wars.
Thank you. Yes, and we'll be playing more of that. Captain_Archer on Twitch. Also on the Discord as Archer or Outrider Matt, depending on where you find me. But anyways, thanks again, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.